Our AmplifiHER award is given each year to a person who spent their personal and professional life uplifting and elevating the women and girls here in the Granite State. I can't think of anyone more deserving than Sue Thoresen for her lifetime of work for girls here on the Seacoast and women throughout the state.
Every time I talk to somebody about Sue, I found out about another organization that she either founded or sat on the board of or literally started with her community.
Sue came from a family that was very involved with the community and had given back on numerous occasions.
Mom in 4th grade felt that the education didn't address women's and girls very well and went in and thought that he should talk about menstruation in school. And I was just mortified because she arranged this whole program and I didn't even want to say the word.
My grandparents were actually very involved with philanthropy, and that sort of spawned another generation.
When you graduate from Smith College, you feel like you can really get things accomplished. You're not intimidated by a project that looks too big. And I found when I went to graduate school that you could hold your own quite well in a classroom that's dominated by men. But it was a major event in my life when I was offered the promotion with a $200 wage when the guy before me earned $2,800 and I had done the budget and I knew it. I said, if you think I'm good enough to have the title and the job and I've been doing the work, then I deserve the pay. At this point there was one woman on the Planning Commission and she said, quote, she earns enough money for a woman. And let me tell you, being discriminated against is a tough feeling and it makes you identify with the underdog.
I mean, she has done so many things over her career that have been really groundbreaking, and she immediately came into Portsmouth and started working with the YWCA.
And it was very attractive because they had a nursery there, so we could go and participate in things and use the nursery. And of course, Sue became president.
For me, I was most aware that she was in the community probably not until probably junior high because she was on the school board. And it wasn't until then that I realized that her life was bigger than this house.
She was very involved with the board in starting Camp Gundalow. She saw a need for a day camp for kids, and so she started that.
I'm never surprised, I never have been surprised by anything that Sue Thoresen has decided to do, and she has always been extremely successful.
In 1974, I decided that I would run for being a delegate to the New Hampshire Constitutional Convention. So as a delegate and having a master's in public administration, I had obviously read the New Hampshire Constitution, and it struck me that when they said all men can own property, they really meant all males. They did not mean all men and women. So I entered a bill to change the Constitution to make it gender neutral, changing men to all people.
Sue has always been an activist, and she, I think, would look around and find the opportunities where she could have the greatest impact. And she went ahead and had that impact.
Molly Schei called me up, I knew her, she's also a Smith grad, and asked if I could do a meeting at my house, talk about this idea of having a women's fund. And I immediately said yes.
Well, we recognized that there really wasn't an entity to provide the voice and the advocacy for those groups and individuals who really wanted to advance the role of women and girls in New Hampshire.
Not only is she supportive of reproductive justice and health organizations like ours, she's also incredibly supportive of organizations that support families. And all of that is in combination with their commitment to beautifying and protecting public spaces, to arts programs. And so they are truly dedicated to creating robust and vibrant communities as a whole.
I remember with the Levering Center, they didn't have enough money to do landscaping, so they were buying shrubs and enlisting all of us to go out there and dig holes and plant shrubs out there.
We call it immersion philanthropy because we we agree to do basically everything. So we not only raise the money, sometimes we're the lead donors, not always, and then we also create the vision, hire the architect, hire the engineer, hire the contractor, and then I act as the owner's representative during the whole construction process.
They arrived together as this power couple, and what I've always admired about them is that Bob is just as much of a feminist as Sue is.
My father-in-law was married to a Smith woman as well, and he said to me one time, you know, when you marry Smith, you marry management. And I took that to heart. I thought, well, that's very interesting. You know, all the time I'm thinking, well, I'm in charge, but then I realized over the years, maybe I'm not so in charge as I think I am. I'm really being very well managed by my spouse.
When I was growing up, truthfully, all my friends were kind of in awe of my parents because they had such a great relationship. And as you probably are aware, my mother is going through chemo and has been unfortunately battling a very difficult cancer since 2021. And my father has stepped up in ways that you just can't even imagine.
Well, what I think has been incredible is how positive an attitude that she has had through this entire time.
My most recent book is going to be called Choose Joy. It focuses on ways that you can be positive in your life in dealing with hardship. And I've had the last 3 years in which I've been pretty sick. I've had a lot of time to practice that.
I think probably my mom's legacy is and always will be that she put others first.
Sue's legacy is all built up around the role that women play in community, and that she's served as a tremendous role model.
I think that's a goal for most of us, is that we want to leave the place a better place than where we found it.
I would say that Sue's legacy is one of quiet and consistent and determined support and feedback. And that consistent feedback comes through a lens of caring and kindness. And I hope that when people talk about her legacy, they also talk about her ability to champion financial stability and an eye toward the future. That is legacy.
On behalf of the staff and board of the New Hampshire Women's Foundation, we are so thrilled to honor Sue Thoresen for our 2024 AmplifiHER Award. Congratulations, Sue.